It's Anthropomorphin time. Woo! That was nice. Welcome to chapter 6 of my furry life. And we are at the beautiful Verrazano Bridge here in Brooklyn, New York. It connects to Staten Island, right over there. And I used to come here when I cut class. Should be telling that on camera. Don't tell my mom. But yeah, we are halfway through the story, and we pick up where we left off. I just had an intense battle within myself, and I'm feeling kind of down. I'm always thinking, why? Why am I always getting rejected? Why does this keep happening? This is like some kind of crazy pattern. But never fear, because I knew that was going to happen. Never fear, because my fursuit is on the way. And that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on being the best fursuiter I can be. But first, we still have some New York fur meets to talk about. And we begin in October 2010, Roosevelt Island. And we're at the lighthouse. And we're shooting another video for YouTube. And now my niece Kayla is there. So I'm bringing family into the mix, you know, which is a big deal. And I don't know, like, looking back on it, I'm just trying to see if it was a good idea. She's 12 years old at the time, but also I'm looking out for her. I wouldn't let anything bad happen to her whatsoever. And my cousin Chris came already, so sure, why not? We got some new NY furs. TDK moved from Pittsburgh. We got Kit Mori, who's a crazy good artist. And now we're getting people from Delaware, you know, other states joining our meets because they're hearing about how fun it is and how spontaneous we are. We just kind of go off the cuff. We improvise. And that's what I liked about the group. It was never really a solid plan. It was just like, okay, let's pick a place and then we'll take it from there. And some people did not like that strategy. Some people wanted a more organized group, per se. And, you know, I can't blame them. Everybody has their own flavor. Try to put this back down. So, there's nothing wrong with that. And me and Dream were admins. And I've been hearing a lot of weird stuff. Little weird rumors about what might be going on with him and other members. And I definitely had to look into that, talk some sense into him. Also, there was some drama. Some members didn't like each other. Some were ex-partners, and they were clashing. And I had to get in there and just be a moderator and make sure that everything was copacetic and that it wasn't going to spill over to other members of the group. And, you know, my main goal was for everybody to get along and have a good time, but it's impossible. When you have that many members, you're going to have some people who are going to just not like each other for whatever reason. There were some people who didn't like me. They thought I was doing it for attention, or I don't know, they were jealous. And I look back on that, I'm like, I don't know what's there to be jealous of. You know, we're a team. I was never trying to outshine anyone. I just happen to have an apartment where we can go to and have a good time. And spend time with each other. Not a lot of people have that luxury. And a lot of people just called me the leader of the NY Furs. And, you know, in a way I was, but I never liked that title because, again, I'm not trying to elevate myself over anybody. That's not my style. I am a team player. But yes, I did lead the charge on a lot of meets. Dream was kind of like my co-pilot. He didn't really have a lot of hands-on stuff. He was more like, you know, the entertainment. He would like create jokes, or he would bring his swords, or he would like bring his suit and just elevate the material, so to speak. But yeah, but besides, you know, that little bit of drama here and there, NY Furs was still blossoming, and and we weren't stopping anytime soon. Now this chapter, I went on 6 different conventions. 6. So buckle up. This is like the convention chapter. It explains why I'm gonna start feeling out burned out. But we start with Fur Fright 2010, and Ron is there. He's with a friend named Switch. I'm rooming with Twilight, Dream, and Ryu. I don't know who else. This is the first con that Inu Yoko says she met me at. I don't remember, but she said she met me there and the other NY Furs. And I was doing my caveman thing again, and it was just like a normal con. I was still butthurt over being rejected by Ron, so I was like in a bad mood, sort of to speak. And then Dream's doing his thing with Ryu, so I'm just hanging out with Twilight most of the time. I'm reminiscing on our first Fur Fight where Beetlejuice was basically in charge. That was so cool. I wish he came back to cons because Beetlejuice was the shit. But not much to report. I remember one night I was just really agitated and angry, and I ended up taking Dream's Bajaku suit without permission, and that's really fucked up. You shouldn't take anybody's suit without permission. You shouldn't take anybody's stuff without permission. And that was like a real low blow for me. And I apologize for him, but I just wanted to let off some steam. I was just had all these thoughts, and when somebody does something to agitate me or make me feel bad, it just lingers in my mind for a long time. It takes a long time to purge that feeling. But it was a Fur Fight. It happened. And a few weeks later, I was turning 21, and I never had like a real big birthday bash. I think maybe when I was 6, I had like a Power Rangers party at McDonald's. So I was like, I want to have a party this year. I know people might show up. So I ended up having like this big, huge birthday party at my place, and it was one of like the best nights I've ever had. Even my friend from the Army showed up. His name is Eddie. We were friends through childhood, and then he moved to Long Island like right before I joined the fandom. I think he was one of maybe he might have been the first person I told that I was a furry, and he was like, "Oh, cool, bro." Like, he didn't care. But he was there. A bunch of NY Furs were there. Dream, Erisys came from New Jersey. Ron came over. Ryu. My friend Kuhn from Delaware, he showed up wearing a straight jacket. He came mad late. He came like at 2 a.m. By then, I was like drunk as hell. And even Pesky, he was in California at the time in college. He was on Skype taking shots for me, and he was having like a little party for me there too. And it was awesome, man. Like Demona was there too. Like, and you can see the video right there in the description. It's on YouTube. It's like 25 minutes, just like the highlights. My friend Kato was there. He was kind of like my protege. He lived in Sunset Park, and he joined the group. He found us through YouTube, so I ended up like taking him under my wing. Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna show you the ropes. He was there. Kayla was there, but she had an ear infection, so she had to go to the hospital. But we kept partying in her honor. I'm downplaying, but it was so much fun. We danced. I had all my favorite food there. I had like this dark chocolate cake. I made this huge birthday speech about my mom and how much I loved her, and none of this would be possible without her. And we were crying. Like, that's how powerful that moment was. I was crying, and I was drinking pina coladas, and I was wearing brand new Timberlands, and I spilled some of my Timberlands, but I was so drunk I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not even mad. It was a fantastic time, man. Guys, you gotta check out the video so you can like relive that moments with me. I love watching that video and reminiscing, man. It was such a great time. Yeah, that was the last time I saw Ron for a while. We kind of like drifted apart. I'm the type of person, if you don't reach out to me, then I'm gonna stop reaching out to you, because I'm always a person that reaches out to people, and I'm tired of that. I'm tired. After that was MFF 2010. I remember it specifically because me and Dream were late for our flight because we were watching Power Rangers Overdrive. And it was like a really bad episode. We were making fun of it. And then we got to the airport like 20 minutes before our flight took off, but they wouldn't give us our boarding pass because it was like a cutoff time. And we would have made the flight because we got past security and we had like 10 minutes left, but they wouldn't give us our boarding passes. So we had to wait an extra 3 hours just to go to Shawtown. And then we had a layover on top of that. It was nuts. But we finally get there, and it's in the brand new hotel. It's in the hotel that it is right now. This was the first year. Wow. Someone just got pulled over. Anyway, fuck that shit. So, not much happened at MFF. You know, I've gone to a few room parties. I partialed in Bajaku with permission this time, and I met a Sedarius. Sedarius is a dancer for super cool dude. And of course, Ket's there too. So we're hanging out, and Alpha's there with his boyfriend. So I'm chilling with them. And overall, it was way better than the first MFF. You know, that's really cemented the con for me, and to go in the future. When I did my caveman thing again, like I was like, I don't got a fursuit. I'm gonna just be caveman. And then we had another Furmeet, which was in Times Square, and that's when I met Inu Yoko officially. We went to Pop Tart World, and she looked like she was having a bad time, man. I don't know, she was with like her college buddy, but she looked like she wasn't having that much of a good time. And I was just trying like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What's your name? And she wasn't having it. But the next time I saw her, she was in much better spirits. I'll get to that. Yeah, so December, we had the NY Furs 1 year anniversary, so we did the White Castle thing once again. We played Michael Jackson's like dance experience on the Wii. That was cool. And yeah, we just it was cool that we made a whole year of Fur Meets. We had a decent turnout for that, and just very happy for like what we accomplished so far. Felt like a small family. And it was good to celebrate that milestone. We also went to the New Year's Furry Ball in Delaware, and it was alright. Like again, I was just jonesing for my fursuit because it was supposed to come, I believe, in September or October that year, but it got pushed to January. So I was just watching all these people in suit, getting a lot of FOMO. It's like, man, I want to just jump in there, man, and do stuff. Christmas break, Pesky comes back, and we're hanging out a lot with him, TDK, and Xerxes. That's what it became, the Fursuiting Cipher. We would just do things together. Go to the movies, shoot the shit, play games. That was like the core four right there. I miss those guys. And Kibi Cat was at New Year's Furry Ball, and we hung out a little bit, went into the city. And around that time, I got in progress photos of my fursuit head. So it was like a duct tape all over him. It was like, oh my God, he's real. He's coming soon. And I was going to get him at Further Confusion in San Jose, California. It was my first time going to California, I believe. It's 2011. And I'm going without Dream, for the first time. Like, throughout this whole journey, he's always been by my side. It's like my first solo trip. I'm going on my own. The Xerxes is there. I think I roomed with Springdale. I don't remember exactly who I roomed with, but I was hanging out with Shade, who was Ket's friend, and we hung out at the lake house. So I mostly hung out with him and his friend Cece. And, I get there, and there's just a lot of people I don't recognize. All these West Coast furries, man. It was so cool. And I was trying to just blend in, and I wore my caveman costume again. Eventually, the time came, and you guessed it. It was Anthropomorphin time. And I finally got my fursuit. how she delivered it, it was in a garbage bag. This girl gave me my fursuit in a garbage bag, but you know, maybe she didn't have a tote. Can't hate on her, but I was just so excited to finally get it. I was like, yeah, it's here. And I did it. I did my morph and put it on. It fit me like a glove. Like, and again, I was 180. I was like cut, and the fursuit was cut too. I got like little chesticles. See, so I have chesticles in real life. And I got down to the lobby. As soon as I got down to the lobby, everybody was fondling me, groping me, touching me. It was madness. They were like, "Oh, who's this new guy?" You know, they were just touching me. And I think I was drinking that night, so I got a little buzz too. And there's this picture of me on the bed, just like this, like sideways, passed out. And man, I was just so happy that I could finally join everybody and see what this new world is about, and become my character. And I wore this iPaul New York shirt over the suit, which, you know, I wanted to represent for New York. And I had the NY First flag. I was waving it in the parade. But I hit the ground running when I got my suit. I did the first 2 games of the Masquerade with Shade. We came up with some weird, like, dance battle thing. I just wanted to do it. I was like, okay, we're doing the Masquerade. Couldn't do the dance comp because I was like too late for that. But I did watch it. What else, man? Oh, I made a music video. Yes, I knew it was something else. I don't know. I just get these ideas, and for some reason, I really liked the hotel. I thought it was fancy. I was like, yo, I need to do a music video. And I did it to Ushers You Don't Have to Call. You can check out those videos down below. And it was all improvised. I was just like, Shade was helping me. I was like, yo, I need this shot. Like on the sky bridge. I need this shot done. Or let's go on the escalator, you know, just like sing and that. It was so simple, but it came out really well, man. Like, I just, you know, deep down inside, I'm a performer, and I always loved to dance. Dancing was always my shit. Ever since I was a little kid. And yeah, so I brought the suit home. I took it to a Furmeet. We went to Bryant Park, and me and Dream, we took photos together. It was great to finally like get a chance to fursuit with him. I went to Times Square, took pictures of like the naked cowboy. 'Cause that's what you do when you get a fursuit. You have to go to Times Square. And I was just so happy. For Valentine's Day, I was giving out free hugs. J Fo was helping me with that. I believe he was an admin of the NY Furs as well. It's a lot of freaking admins at one point. We had like 4. I don't know why. All we did was like post journals. And man, I remember the complaint I got the most about being an admin for NY Furs is, how come you guys don't do meets upstate? And I'm like, my man, you expect us to go 6 hours upstate just so we can organize a little get together for y'all? Like, no, you guys got to do that yourselves. A lot of people are being lazy. They don't want to put in the work. It takes a lot of social energy to create fur meets. It takes even more to host them, but that was the main issue. Not a lot of people wanted to host them. You know? That's why, you know, me and Dream, we have that energy. J4 had that energy. And that's why our ideas, you know, they really blossomed. And people responded well to them, for the most part. But free hugs, yeah. My next con was Furry Week in Atlanta. I was trying to hit up all the big cons, all the major ones. And that was when I really, really embraced the Power Rangers motif. I wore the Red Ranger shirt over my body, and I ordered from eBay the old Morpher and the old Blaster. This one is new. This is the legacy one, but I had the original 1993 one. I think I still do somewhere. And I was taking pictures with it. You know, I was in the parade, like doing punches and kicks. I loved it, man. I was really like embracing my childhood with this thing. And the fact of the matter is, I was a gray wolf, but I was adaptable. You know, I could be a superhero, or I could be like a ladies' man. I wore this vest with it. This became like part of my image. You know, I had it, the artwork and badges and other commissions. And later on, I would wear other outfits on top of it. It was cool. It was like I could be whatever the hell I want. And FWA was the first time I did the dance competition. And man, let me tell you, man, those things are nerve wracking. I was so nervous. I was just like sweating. And I did it to this song from the Step Up 3D soundtrack. It's called What You Doing. And I don't know, I just thought it'd be a really funky song to dance to, but I didn't do any choreo. I auditioned and I improv all my moves, and then I busted out the cartwheel because it's such a like an easy but kind of cool move to see. It's cool to do, but easy to see. Doesn't take a lot of effort. And the judges put me in the final. I think I was like the fourth one. And this year, 2011, G4 was actually there. They were doing a segment for Attack of the Show, so I was actually on Attack of the Show for like 2 seconds. They put like two quick clips of me like dancing, and I think you had to sign a waiver too, or a waiver not to be in it if you didn't want to be in it. I was like, hell yeah, I want to be in it. But doing the dance competition, performing in front of a crowd for the first time like that was amazing. I just love the energy, and I love seeing people enjoy it. And I liked it when they came up to me and said, "Oh man, that was awesome. That was cool." It's a great feeling. It's like a rush of serotonin, and there's nothing quite like it. And then I get to see the other guys perform, and they were awesome. Even the judges performed. Like, FWA has the best dance competition because that's where it started, and I'm pretty sure it holds true to this very day. I walked around Atlanta. I got a video of me just dicking around, um, going to the mall. uh, yeah, man, it was a great time. I think I roomed with Pichu and this other person. This person, we'll call them C, because me and my friends don't talk about C anymore. And yeah, but every time I mention Pichu, just know that C is there because they were always together. Back then, C was cool. Um, they had great jokes. They they were just cool. They were part of the gang. They know how to roast people. Um, they were an artist, and they came up with this joke called Ghost Tits. Like, I don't know how it happened. They Googled Ghost Tits, and then they came up with this image, and then Pichu put it on all the computers at FWA. He printed out like 200 copies of Ghost Tits and put it on the dance floor. And I was like, what the fuck? What's Ghost Tits doing here? It became like one of our like biggest inside jokes. And we ended up making a trailer for the movie, for the Ghost Tits movie. Then Olivia Munn comes years later and steals our idea. But that was FWA, one of my favorite cons ever. The city of Atlanta is great. Great food. The hotel was dope. I met Diggy Roo at this convention. He was a new fur, just got his suit. He was a cheetah, and he was like a really dope guy. He was getting into the dancing thing, a hip hop head, and that was what's so great about fursuiting. You have an automatic opportunity to just shoot the shit with someone and be like, "Hey, you have a nice fursuit. Where'd you get it made? Um, how'd you come up with your character?" I made so many friends through fursuiting, and I wish that I got a Twitter back then, because I would have had made a lot more connections if I had made the Twitter back then. But back then I was like, Twitter is dumb. I mean, Twitter is dumb. Like right now, they're changing the damn thing to X. I'm getting off. I'm getting off track.
One thing I forgot to mention was I went to Duda this chapter as well, and I fursuited in the parade, obviously, which was really cool. But what was awesome is I actually did like a legit music video. You guys remember Rebecca Black's Friday? I did a parody of that video in Fursuit. And it was in response to these other suitors that they posted a video and it was really bad. So low energy. So I was like, I can do that better. And then I used it as a way to get votes for the fandom's favorite fursuit fracas, which was a tournament to see who likes which fursuiter the best. It's a popularity contest. It was really stupid. But I made it to the third round, and I think I lost against some kind of like Firestorm 6 suit, I think. But yeah, check out that video in the link below.
NY Furs, we have another Furmy at the Botanical Gardens, and I feel like that one's like bigger than the one we had last year. It's probably like our biggest one to date. And yeah, Twilight comes through from New Hampshire, and finally, me and Inuyoko formally meet. She's not grumpy anymore, and she's like, "Oh, yo, what's up, Frisky? Like, like I like your videos, and you do all this cool stuff. Like, she was fangirling, and I know you was if you're watching this, you were fangirling over me." And I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks." But Inuyoko is one of the most creative people I've ever met in my entire life. She's like a sister to me. I will protect her to the day I die. And that was the day we like made like the connection. Like, all right, she is fucking awesome. She's also dating C at the time. That's like how, that's why she was there. She's from Connecticut. But she came down and showed everybody love, all the NY Furs. And that's the type of person she is, man. She has a big heart. She wants everyone to feel included. And she was down to clown, man. But yeah, that for me was awesome. I think there's a little video floating somewhere. And we meet again at FAU. And I'm only there for one day because FAU is so small. It's like, why even bother doing the whole weekend? So I go there for Saturday. I think I go there with Dream and JFO. And there's a charity auction. And they come up to us because they want like a little entertainment. They're like, hey, can you guys like dance during the charity auction? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I'm dancing, Inuyoko's dancing, Dream is dancing. It's two furs, Jackson Wolf, I think, was there, and Big Z. And we're putting on a show for the charity auction just for no reason, because they asked us to. And it was like a J-Lo song. And that was fun, man. Like, any opportunity I had to like fursuit or just do something cool, I wanted to take it. Because I've been working my ass off for 2 years to get this costume. So I'm like, hey, I am going to do as much as I can with this thing. And it was worth it. I actually had back problems at the time. So I was like, I don't know, I'm going to pull this off. And I remember I was going to do the cartwheel. And Dream was like, no, don't do it. You're back, man. Don't do it. And I did it anyway. Because I don't care. And I think it fixed my back, ironically enough. But that con, I think I wore my suit like the most consistently, like consecutively, without taking my suit off. I think I wore it like for 10 hours. I was nuts back then. I was an iron fursuiter, just like Duncan. Duncan's this one fursuiter who I met at the first time I went to FAU. He never took his fursuit off. I didn't know what he looked like until the Doodah Parade. That dude was always in suit. And that's who I was. I was becoming another Duncan. But I didn't care. I loved it. And yeah, well, AC was around the corner, so I was starting to put together the Masquerade for Anthrocon. And I had this idea, we're going to do a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger skit. We're going to have 6 of us be the Rangers, and then have 6 people be putties, and then have the main bad guy. And immediately, Inuyoko, she was on board. She was like, hell yeah, I'll get the weapons. We're going to do this and that. So she was the Pink Ranger. Diggy Roo was the yellow. Sedarius was the green one. Ket was the black one. Dream was blue. And finally, I was red. Then we had a last minute addition. We had 7 Rangers. This girl named Taru was at AC. And she wanted to be white. So I was like, okay, you can be white. Hell yeah. 7, more the merrier. And we got our putties. Like Jackson, Big Z, Pichu, Twilight. Trying to think if I forgot anybody. I know Walger. He was on standby because Ket hurt his finger, so he was at risk of dropping out. Man, who's the other guy? I know there was another putty. Can't remember. Ugh. Forgive me. So I've gathered like 15 people to do this one crazy ass skit, and it was a blast, man. Like just rehearsing. Oh, I think Shay was a putty. Yeah, there, got it. It was so cool to just put this huge, well, it wasn't huge, but for me it was huge. This awesome performance for Anthrocon, because this was my 4th Anthrocon, so this was going to be like my graduation. So I wasn't going to do it anymore. I was like, all right, it's my 4th year. It's time for me to move on to bigger and better things. See what else the fandom has to offer. So that was the main focus of that AC. Last year we tied up some loose ends, some old storylines, but this one was like about going forward. And yeah, what's funny about it is I felt a sense of loneliness throughout the whole time, even though what's weird is that I was always surrounded by people, but I still felt lonely. I felt like this weird disconnect from everything and everybody. And I just can't explain it. So, kind of ended on a somber note. But I know I had a great time. We brought The Rock to that convention. Working at the theater has its perks because I had a cardboard cutout of Dwayne Johnson, and we brought him around Anthrocon with the Fast 5 theme playing. We also had an NY First panel where we just gathered a bunch of NY First and just, I don't know, we just talked. There's videos about all these things down below. And I gave out condoms because I wanted like a souvenir. Like, thank you for coming to our panel. Here, have a condom. And we had so many left over because Pichu went to the free clinic and got like a giant bag, like stacks of condoms. So I ended up going around Anthrocon and giving them out for free. It's just like, here you go. You get a condom. You can a condom. You get a condom. It's a lot of fun. I also did 7-minute abs in the dealer's den, which is this workout. It was just like crunches, like doing different kinds of crunches. And they stopped us because they didn't want us to overheat. They were like, yo, stop that. You're gonna kill yourself. So this con was stacked. Like, I did so much. I went to the raves. All my friends were there. So it was just very weird that I had that sense of just, I can't even like find the words. Isolation. There you go. But we put on the Power Ranger skit. Goes off without a hitch. Everybody loves it. We had party poppers at the end. It was great. We took photos, and then I'm like, yo, we should like have dinner together, like have like an after party. Instead, we ended up going to like Waffle House, which is like 45 minutes away. It's such like a crazy detour. I don't know why we did that. Pesky was there. He videotaped the performance. He was doing his own thing with Xerxes. They were having like a spin-off. So yeah, I guess that's why the mood felt different, because NY Furs weren't like united like last year. Like, we came on the mega bus together, so we had that camaraderie this time. I came a day early with Dream, and the rest of them came on their own next day. So that might be it. who's to say? But everybody that was part of the skit, man, like I'm so thankful. Like it was just a blast. Putting the rock everywhere, that was cool. Like I'm never gonna forget that. And yeah, my graduation. I have this big speech about like, you know, I've learned so much from Anthrocon. It changed who I am as a person, inside and out. And now it's time to go out of the cons and into the world. And you know, I think I think some people were really moved by that speech. They're like, "Whoa, man, that's crazy. It's deep." But it was time to move on out of the cons into the world. Like, I did stuff outside of the cons. Like, you know, I did the New Jersey barbecue again. I met some cool people there, and this was the first like chapter where I didn't have any like somebody I was fawning over who wasn't paying attention to me. There were people that were into me though for the first time, who were showing interest in me, and unfortunately, you know, I had to turn them down because I just wasn't feeling the same way they were, and that made me feel bad. I hate letting people down. You know, I was still harboring this like little crush I had on Twilight, but never in my wildest years that I think she would feel that same way. So I never made a move. I just focused on fursuiting. That was like the entirety of my chapter 6. And next time, I am gonna do a lot of wild stuff outside of the cons, and I'm gonna see what else this fandom has to offer. So join me next time. Thank you for watching, and make sure you check out the videos down below if you want some more context on my furry life. Take care.